All right, everybody. Welcome back to another World of Warcraft video, and we are squarely in the pre-patch for the Burning Crusade. Sorry, I have not posted a video in a few days. I have been busy boosting a bunch of shamans, making some gold. It's been incredibly lucrative, and I'm hoping to hit my gold goal by the end of the pre-patch. And hopefully this video might help some others, make a little bit of gold as well. So as you might have read from the title, this is the guide I have put together on kind of the best but also easily obtainable items if you want to boost with a boosted Paladin. So we've had a few days for people to pay for their boosts now. People should have already hit 60. Some people should already be doing things like AQ20, Zul'Gurub, endgame dungeons. And now that Blizzard has implemented the double honor gains from Battlegrounds, this build is going to be easier than ever to obtain. So this is going to be a build that is going to allow fresh 60 Paladins to do stockade boosts and do them in enough time and to do them efficiently enough to do them per lockout and hopefully cash in on that sweet, sweet shaman boosting gold. Now, I know some people don't like boosting. I know this video might not be for you, but that is the state of the game now. All right. So if we go ahead and we're going to look at your helm first. So this helm is going to be from AQ20, the Ruins of Ahn'Qiraj. It is a very low drop rate, but you can get this from the auction house. So that makes this a very, very, very good option if you want to pick it up. And then, of course, if you want to put in the effort, you can also get the PvP helmet, which is very, very strong as well. It's only 4,335 honor. It has 26 spell power, as well as has great armor stats. So either of these are going to be really, really good obtainable options for a fresh 60 Paladin. Now, of course, it's up to you. You can put a Libram of Focus on your helmet to get another 8 spell power out of this helmet, but I don't think it is going to be completely necessary. Next, we have the neck from ZG as well. Again, this thing drops pretty often, but if you cannot get a hold of this, you can go over to Stratholme and pick up a necklace there as well. Unfortunately, Darkmoon Fair is already over, and there's no way for you to get that. But you can get the Fall of Osirian neck from doing AQ20. If you get his head, you can turn that in. That is going to be a very, very viable option as well. So those are 3 really, really good, easily obtainable options. 1 from AQ20, 1 from ZG, and then 1 from Stratholme. All 3 are great options. Next, pretty much the best and most easily obtainable option for boosting as a Paladin that is fresh 60 is going and getting the PvP shoulders. Especially because you want to get 2 pieces and get that sweet 23 spell power bonus from having the 2 set. And again, at only 2,800 honor and then 20 honor tokens, this should be incredibly easy for anybody to pick up. There is also the Mantle of... where is this? This is Horosoth. This is also from AQ20. It's from Osirian. But I honestly think for how much honor you're getting from BGs, going with the shoulders is going to be your easiest option by far. Now, if you have worked really hard, picked up a bunch of bijous, or you're doing... if you're doing ZGs every lockout and you can get to Exalted with the Zandalari, then you can throw the 18 spell power enchant on those shoulders. So next, again, we have another ZG item. This cloak is obtainable from ZG. It's a decent drop rate. And if you can't get your hands on this one, you also have the chance at getting the Cloak of Consumption, which might be a little bit more difficult to get off of people. If you can't get any of those, then there is the Bind on Equip option from the Sack of Spoils. You might be able to find it on your auction house. And then there's the Dire Maul Cloak, and then there is the Cloak from Sunken Temple. Basically, you're just wanting to get as much spell power as you can. And then also, if you want to spend the gold, you can get Hide of the Wild. Let's see if it comes up, which is going to be 14 spell power, and you can get that crafted fairly cheap as well. So those are all going to be very, very good options for a cloak. Of course, you're going to want a Demon Forge Breastplate. For me, the best enchant for boosting is always going to be Lesser Absorption. There we go. It is a 5% chance per hit of giving you a 25 points of damage absorption. Now, there is an internal cooldown on that enchant, but you can actually batch when you're pulling enough mobs to where you can get multi-procs of it. Next, a good option is going to be the bracers from doing ZG as well. These drop quite frequently. They're quite nice. Good armor, good stat distribution. And you're going to want to put plus healing power on these because they are going to give you that 8 spell damage. And with this build, you're also going to get the 4 MP5 from the 2 set bonus. Now, if you go to Dire Maul North, you can get a pair of bracers that are also pretty good. And then, let's see here. Those are probably going to be the best. You can use the, not the Judgment. You can go ahead and get the Tier 1 bracers, but those just have MP5 and good stats and good armor. So if I can, I would go after the Zandalari. Again, you have multiple lockouts. You should be able to get a hold of those pretty easily. So one of your best options, again, is going to come from ZG. That is going to be the Blood Collar, and of course, plus 30 spell power on it. Great stats, 33 spell power, wonderful weapon. On your server, this comes from the Sack of Spoils out in Silithus. You can sometimes find these on the auction house. These are pretty darn good, and you can normally pick them up for not too terribly much. Another option, if you have the mats, is you can find somebody to make you a Sage Blade. Sage Blade, again, just 20 spell power. It's going to just be a good placeholder. After that, if you want to put in the time, you can go after the one-handed mace, the Grand Marshal one-handed mace. It's going to give you 45 spell power, MP5, and stats. It is an amazing option, and this just completely depends on how much effort and how much time you are willing to put into farming that honor. It's 19,125 armor. But if you can get this weapon, it's going to serve you well. Probably into the mid-60s is when you'll eventually replace this. So next is going to be the Skull Flame Shield. And because Redoubt has been buffed so massively, I am now a proponent of using the Thorium Shield Spike over 2% block rating. As many of you know, the Skull Flame Shield and Demon Forge Breastplate are going to be linchpins for making this build work. So next we have the gloves from AQ20. If you can get a hold of these are great stat distribution, some spell power, and again, you can put plus healing on these, and these are going to be very good. The Peacekeeper gloves are going to add 20, again, from ZG. These are going to be a fantastic option. Lots of armor, 20 spell power, MP5. Again, ZG has so many good pieces for you to get, and if you're hitting those lockouts one after another, you're going to be able to get those. Those would be my two biggest points, is if you can get one of those, you are going to be set. Next on the list is going to be the Zandalari belt. I think this one is going to be very easy to get. Again, most people aren't going to be going after it in ZG. And this is going to give you the 2-set bonus, getting you that really, really useful 4 MP5. If you can't get a hold of it, you can always go for the Tier 1 belt if you can find it on the auction house. It's great armor, great stat distribution, and still gives you some of that really much needed spell power. So next is going to be the PvP legs. Again, for ease of getting it, only 4,335 honor and 30 Warsong Gulch marks. You can realistically get this in 1 day of farming. This is going to get you your 2-set bonus for 23 extra spell power. And again, you can put a Librum of Focus for another 8 spell power. Next is going to be a pair of boots, again from ZG. These are going to give you some MP5, a little bit of spell power. There really aren't that many other great options unless, again, you really want to hit that honor farm really, really hard. Then, again, the PvP set is going to be your friend, stamina, strength, and good armor, and then really, really good spell power. And again, at only 2,800 honor, the tokens are really going to be the only thing holding you back. You could easily get these with a day of farming, if not just a few hours. So finally, we're going to get into some rings that are going to be easier for you to obtain. One of the easiest ones is going to be the Maiden Circle, which you can get straight from the auction house. It is a random world drop. I know it's probably going to be a little bit higher in price, but it is a BOE. Just keep checking the auction house. It is a great option. You can also get the Eye of Orgrimmar. No, that is the Save the Princess quest. If you do BRD, that is, again, it is pretty much on par with the Maiden Circle. It is a little bit less spirit, but that's not going to matter really for our purposes. I'm sorry, that's going to be the Alliance version, is the Songstone. So next is going to be, let me see if I can find this. Blackrock Spire is very good if you can get into Blackrock Spire with a group. That is going to Ubers. That is going to be Upper Blackrock. Flaming Band is very good and also gets a random enchant on it. And then where is the Band of Servitude? Again from ZG is going to be an excellent option with 23 spell power. But again, we're leaning really heavy on ZG items, so I wanted to spread it out and make suggestions from other places that you can obtain rings, like Upper Blackrock Spire, getting something from a world drop, Blackrock Depths, the quest. With the quest, it is a guaranteed item that you get. And then same thing, the Rune Band of Wizardry from, again, Upper Blackrock Spire is going to be an amazing option. And then we even have the new jewel crafting ring, the Gem-Studded Band. So that's going to have 16 spell power. Amazing option. So your ring slot should be one of the easiest slots for you to fill, because even if you have to, you could go and get the Lore Keeper ring from Warsong Gulch, which is only 1,500 spell power. Very, very, very easy to obtain. You can get the ring from doing AQ20 and getting the items to turn in. You can get Band of Unicorn. But I think you guys get at this point, there are numerous options for you to do when it comes to rings. So next, I think the easiest combination of items for you to get for your trinket slots are going to be Force of Will. Because you don't have a huge amount of spell power to be healing off of Demon Forge and the Skull Flame, you're going to want to focus on some defensive options. Force of Will is unbeatable, and now that it drops off of Anger Forge rather than the last boss of BRD, it is infinitely easier to farm than it was back a few phases ago. So you and 2 other people can very easily do 5 to 10 minute Anger Forge runs. Go in there, run them a few times, get Force of Will. It is invaluable for doing Stockade boosts. Next, you're going to get another BOE off the auction house. These are normally pretty easy to find. Has a 2% chance when striking combat of protecting you with a bubble. This procs constantly. Back in the day when I used to use this, that bubble would non-stop proc. It's an amazing trinket. A good one that you can also get if you have some friends who are willing. Going to Upper Blackrock Spire, you can get the Reed from the rare spawn of Jed. You can fish for an ID that has him. Another option is Burst of Knowledge from Blackrock Depths. Is going to give you 12 spell power, and you can also use it to reduce the mana cost of your consecration twice. You can do your Dire Maul quest, which is going to get you some armor for some mitigation and a little bit of spell power. And then the final honorable mention is going to be Second Wind, again from Blackrock Depths. This doesn't drop very often, but it will give you some mana back if you are having mana issues inside Stockades when you're running. So this build is actually pretty solid for what it is. This is going to give you about 7,000 armor without Devo Aura. This is going to give you a little bit over 306 spell damage. It's going to give you a little bit of MP5. And as long as you do strafe running and you are very smart with how you're doing your run using a Zanzapot, this build should be able to do a 1 or 2 pull of Stockades using the new Ardent Defender talent. So if I were doing this build for Stockades, so now that we have the gear done, let's go over to talents. So for me, because you are missing so much spell power, you are going to want to invest pretty much as you can into any sort of mitigating effect. Also, Stoicism is great for keeping yourself from getting stunned. 1 point in Reckoning. Then we are going to want Shield Specialization for if you decide to do higher level AoE farms. And then you can do more Stamina. One-handed specialization is going to give you extra damage, which is incredibly useful. We're going to get Ardent Defender, which is going to... This is what is going to help you not die in Stockades, even though your gear is not that amazing, but we'll get into it in just a moment. If you are having trouble with Bubble, if with health, you can always get into Guardian's Favor. For me, I would definitely want that Divine Intellect, so you get more into that larger mana bar, because Consecrate is not a cheap spell to cast. From there, the rest of your abilities are just going to be things that are quality of life. Anticipation's still going to be good. It's going to give you some survivability. From there on, I would probably move into Holy Shield just to make it a little bit easier for you to mitigate a little bit more damage if you have the mana. Avenger's Shield is really good for pulling. And then you can throw the final 2 points into Blessing of Kings just so that you have it. And I guess we can throw 1 point into Guardian's Favor. So this would be something that I think you could easily run if all you're doing is boosting and you still want to do just a little bit of normal tanking. So 5 points in Divine Intellect. Obviously, you want a larger mana bar. Consecrate costs a ton of mana. So this is obviously going to help. Improve Devo Aura, Redoubt, Toughness, Anticipation. All of these are going to give you mitigation and help you survive when you're doing your boost. Improved Righteous Fury is going to give you that flat 6% damage reduction. Shield Specialization is going to be useful if you are fighting higher level mobs, so you block all of the damage. Blessing of Sanctuary prevents up to the 24 damage when it's ranked up, as well as providing more damage when you block. So with the upgrade to Redoubt and the fact that Redoubt is probably going to be up nearly 100% of the time, the damage coming out from Blessing of Sanctuary as well as your Thorium Shield Spike are going to be super high compared to before the pre-patch. 1 point in Reckoning is all that's going to be necessary when you're pulling 40, 50, 60 mobs at a time. This is really nice because you'll be double attacking and you'll get double chance to proc either Seal of Wisdom or Seal of Light, whichever one you feel you need more for the run. Sacred Duty is nice for the lower bubble cooldown, as well as getting you that extra stamina. One-handed weapon specialization increases all damage you do. That means the flame strike from your Skull Flame shield, the drain life from your armor and shield, your consecration, everything. Everything you do does 5% more damage. And then finally, with this kind of lower bit of gear, this is what is going to help you do these runs without fear of dying, and that is when you have less than 35% health, all damage taken is reduced by 30%. So with all of your other mitigation abilities on top of Ardent Defender, on top of the healing from your shield and armor, this should be plenty to keep you alive and have really smooth, really nice stockade runs. So I think that's pretty much going to do it for this video. If you have any questions about gear, about talents, about routing, and anything that has to do with Paladin and boosting, I do boosts pretty much every single day on my stream over at twitch.tv/the Duke of TBC. I also do tanking, I do GDKPs, I do raiding with the guild. So if any of that interests you, I hope to see you there. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. If you love the video, please subscribe for more content. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Later!